excited to be here tonight. You know, this is really a dream come true for me. Really a dream come true for me. I've been getting mentored by a guy who's been a motivational speaker for 17 years. And so as a young boy, you know, this was a passion of mine. This was something I wanted to do. I never realized that it would become possible. And just this last year, it's been so incredible because he has opened so many doors for me. And so for me to be here today, like, I want you to know, like, this moment right now means everything to me. Literally means everything to me. Thank you so much to the leadership team, to this great organization, to the county. Thank you all for bringing me here, because without you, this is not possible for me. So thank you. Listen. To the graduates, man, you guys are an inspiration. An inspiration. Can all the graduates please stand up? I want you guys to get this. I believe each and every one of you were created to be a champion. I believe each and every one of you are champions. Champion, that word literally in its purest form means someone who has defeated all rivals in competition. I've done my research. I've talked to people. The rivals I'm speaking of are those obstacles, that adversity, that pain that you face to get to this moment. You are a champion. Every single day you've had to fight. Every single day you had to show up and win. I'm so passionate about this topic because this particular topic changed my life. Developing a championship mentality at an early age literally changed my life. How many of you guys have a dream? A dream beyond graduation? That's so important. That's so important. That's for everyone in the room. The obstacles that you face in your life, they only equip you for the obstacles you will face in the future, because they will come. I know I'm here, like, you know, you're here to motivate and encourage, but I have to be real with you. The thing about the obstacles you face, they only made you stronger for the obstacles you'll face in the future. I'm in the midst of obstacles right now as I'm up here motivating and encouraging. Just a month ago, my father, who wasn't in my life growing up, he's become my best friend these last 8 years. Went into the hospital because he had the flu. I get a call from the hospital at 6 a.m. in the morning. They said, "John, we don't know how to say this, but your father has stage 4 lung cancer. 6 months to live. But I'm a champion." The first thing my father said to me, he said, was, "John, be strong." And that's what I want to encourage you with. Be strong. You know, I've been able to spend a lot of time with my father, and we've been having a lot of deep conversations these last few weeks, and I wanted to know about my early life. My early life, because I know I went through obstacles. I knew that I faced adversity, and I knew that people said, "John, you have to start believing in yourself." They said these incredible things. I developed this mentality, but I never really knew my story. Recently, my father said, "John, I don't know how to share this with you, but you know, you were born a crack baby." If I could just be transparent with you, where I was born, I'm from Tacoma, Washington. Right, in the early 1990s, Tacoma, Washington had some of the highest drug and crime rates in America. Literally, some of the highest in America. A lot of those drugs, a lot of those crimes went on in my home. Born into it. When I was 7 years old, 7-year-old boy, I remember coming home every single day. I'd see my mother using drugs, crack cocaine. One particular day, 7-year-old boy, 1995, I came home from school, went into my house, so excited to see my mother, wanted to just feel her warm embrace. Despite her addiction, she still loved me. I knew that. Rushed to her room, saw my mother on the floor. As a 7-year-old boy, I found my mother dead. So when I tell you this championship mentality saved my life, it literally was the only thing that kept me going. It's literally the only thing that got me to this point right now. When I was 7, a week after my mother passed away, I went to class. And my teacher kind of did something similar to what I did in the beginning. She said, how many of you guys have a dream? And for me, dreams were not in my future. I didn't think that I could even dream beyond my circumstances. And so my teacher, here she is, literally she was at my mother's funeral, watched me weep over my mother's dead body. She was at my mother's funeral a week prior, and she said, how many of you guys have a dream? I didn't go up to the front. I didn't answer her question, so she came to me. She said, John, what's your dream? What do you want to do? What do you want to own? Where do you want to be? I looked at her, and the first thing that came to my mind, I was a big dreamer. If I could be honest, I said, I want to own a Camaro. She looked at me, she kind of laughed, and she said, well, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to be? I said, well, I want to be a doctor. We just finished reading about Dr. King. I said, I want to be a doctor like Dr. King. I want to inspire the world. She looked at me, she began to cry. She says, John, I believe in you. I believe in you. And when she said that, I began to believe in myself. This is what I believe. I believe every person is one, I believe in you away from pursuing their dream. You all raised your hand and said you have dreams beyond graduation. I want you to know I'm a guy that believes in you from the bottom of my heart. I came all the way from Tacoma to Modesto, hot Modesto, to tell you that I believe in you. You know, after my teacher told me she believed in me, I didn't know how that looked. I didn't know how to pursue that dream. And so in my environment, it was a lot of drugs, a lot of death, and so that's all I knew on. So I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. By the time I was 11, I started experimenting with drugs. 11 years old. I'm sure you guys can relate. As an orphan youth, I had nowhere to go, nowhere to turn. That's why I love this organization, because I had no outlets. All I knew was the streets. 11-year-old boy, all my friends got arrested for murder. Some of my closest friends arrested for murder because I followed the wrong crowd. I want you to know that you were created to be a great original. A great original. Oftentimes I believe, especially in this generation, we walk around as average copies, but you were created to be a great original. You need to hear that. A great original. Championship mentality. So I was like, well, maybe I could win a championship in football. I wanted to be something more. I didn't want to end up in jail like my friends, so I'd go to my grandmother's house. I'd stay with different friends, and every morning, wherever I was, I would wake up when I was 11 years old. That summer, I'd wake up every single morning. I'd run down to Stadium Bowl. I'd run the stairs. Every single morning. That championship mentality, I believe if you change your mind, you'll change your circumstances. I didn't want to end up in jail. I didn't want to end up dead. I wanted something more for myself. So every single day, I'd wake up and I'd go run stairs. Run stairs. I love sports because you learn so many life lessons in sports. And from sports, I learned that I can keep pushing, that I can endure, that I can persevere. I ended up going to high school. Couldn't read. Couldn't read, never focused in school. When I tell you that this is my dream, that this moment means everything to me, as a young boy, I could barely speak. I could barely speak in this moment. It means everything to me. I could barely read. Went to high school. Almost flunked out my freshman year. By the time I was a senior, I had 9 varsity letters and graduated with an academic scholarship. Your dream is possible. I went on to college, earned a football scholarship, and I knew one of my dreams would come true. I'd be able to win a championship in football. Because people would tell me, my brother would say, hey man, you have to have a championship mentality, and different people would tell me that. So of course, in my young mind, I associated that with sports. Like, okay, I need to go to college and win a championship. And then, you know, I made it. I went to college. By the time I was a junior, if I could just be honest, like all my teams were horrible in college. I remember sharing this speech at a school, and one of the high schoolers yelled out, "You guys sucked." Okay, man. And what do you say to that? We were 0-11 my junior year. I'm like, yeah, you're right. When I became a senior, I thought if I could just be a captain of the team, maybe I could help this team win the championship. And so they elected me captain. Every day I show up and tell my guys, keep pushing, come on, let's persevere, let's win this championship. I had aspirations and dreams to go to the NFL. Third game of the season, I was leading the conference in touchdowns, I was up there in yards, I was a starting running back for my team down in Oklahoma. Third game of the season, second half, I get a carry, run to the right side, hit in my hip, dislocation in my hip. The only thing I remember was a doctor coming to me and said, John, you would never play football again. You would never play football again. But I would show up every day. I believe half the battle is just showing up, right? And so I would show up every day and I just would encourage my guys, keep pushing, let's go. We can still win this championship. I knew I'd still be a part of the team. And so game after game, it was a humbling experience because I would have to go and wear a sweatsuit on the sideline and just act super cool. But I was really discouraged and sad on the inside. So I show up every game and we start winning game after game after game. And then we get to the final game and I was about 60%. Doctor said you'll never play. I decided to put on my pads. I put on my knee pads. I put on the football pads, feeling good about myself. Second half, one of my good friends got hurt. Knocked out. Coach came over to the sideline. He was like, hey, we need a running back. We need someone to go. There's 2 freshmen, and then there was me. He said, gangs, before he could finish his sentence, I ran onto the field. I ran onto the field. That game, I ended up scoring the game-winning touchdown. But you know what? I didn't feel fulfilled. We won a championship. I still wear the ring because it looks cool. But I did not feel fulfilled. It took for me to win a championship on the field to realize that true championships are won off the field. My whole life, that's what I fought for. My whole life, that's what I pushed for, to win that championship. And it wasn't fulfilling. I think because I was pursuing the wrong thing. The obstacles and the adversity that I faced, they were not preparing me to win that championship on the field. They were preparing me for my greatness in life. And that's what I want to encourage you with. I believe all the adversity and the obstacles that you face, use them as tools to put in your tool belt because they are preparing you for those dreams that you have deep in your heart. Can you imagine me telling my friends that I wanted to speak? They used to laugh at me and tell me I'll never get a 4.0, I'll never live my dream. But I learned to use this adversity and use this pain and to use these obstacles as motivation for my success. And you can do the same thing. When I was 7 years old, looked at my teacher and said, I want to be a doctor. She said, I believe in you. I began to believe in myself. I began to believe in myself. And every single day I remember I'd go run stairs, then I'd read Dr. Seuss books because I wanted to learn how to read. And now I'm a year away from pursuing my doctorate degree. You know, the stats say a lot of things. I grew up an orphan kid, right? We've all heard the stats. You're gonna end up in jail. You won't graduate high school. That's what the stats say. But you're a statistic redefined. You beat the odds. You beat the odds. You know, I failed many times in my life, faced the adversity, but because of that, I am who I am today. So from the bottom of my heart, I mean it. Like I was going to sign on my house today. I'm buying a house back home. I told him I want to postpone it. Like literally, I'm watching my father die. But when I saw this come out, I got an email to speak at this organization in California during a busy time in my life. I knew I had to be here. After I read about some of the things that you guys are doing, I knew I had to be here because this is what changed my life. When the stats say you're going to end up in jail like your friends, when the stats says you'll never be a doctor, when the stats says you'll never be a motivational speaker, I kept reminding myself I am a champion every single day. I am a champion. So the obstacles you face in the future, I want each and every one of you to know that you are a champion. You beat the odds, and you will continue to do it. It saved my life. It propelled me to my dream. It will do the same for you. Keep pushing. Thank you so much.